Welcome, mystery seekers, to another spine-chilling episode of MystifyMe, True Crime and Enigmatic Investigations. I'm your host, Andrew, and tonight we delve into the hauntingly enigmatic death of one of America's most celebrated and mysterious literary figures, Edgar Allan Poe. His life was as dark and twisted as his tales, but it is his death that remains one of the most perplexing mysteries of the literary world. So, dim the lights, settle in, and let's unravel the mysterious demise of Edgar Allan Poe. Our journey begins in Baltimore, Maryland on October 3rd, 1849. Edgar Allan Poe, the master of macabre, was found delirious and dishevelled in a gutter near a tavern known as Gunner's Hall, now the site of a bustling hospital. He was in a dire state, unable to explain how he ended up there or what had happened to him. Just 4 days later, on October 7th, Poe succumbed to his mysterious affliction at the age of 40. His final days were marked by confusion, hallucinations, and utter despair, leaving us with more questions than answers. The official cause of death was listed as phrenitis, an old term for swelling of the brain. But this diagnosis did little to quell the rumours and speculations that followed. Over the years, numerous theories have been proposed to explain Poe's untimely demise, each more intriguing and sinister than the last. In this episode, we'll explore the most compelling theories, dissect the evidence, and perhaps bring you closer to understanding the truth behind Poe's death. Let's start with the theory of cooping, a form of electoral fraud rampant in the 19th century. Poe was found on election day, and some historians suggest that he might have been a victim of this cruel practice. Cooping involved abducting individuals, forcing them to vote multiple times for a particular candidate, often under threat or while being plied with alcohol and drugs. Poe was discovered wearing clothes that were not his own, a common tactic to disguise the repeated voting. Could it be that Poe fell prey to political thugs and their ruthless schemes? Cooping was a notorious method used to rig elections during Poe's time. The fact that he was found in a state of utter disarray, in clothes that weren't his, strongly supports this theory. Victims of cooping were often beaten and left for dead once their usefulness had expired. Poe's physical and mental state when he was found aligns with the aftermath of such an ordeal. But the cooping theory is just one piece of the puzzle. Another theory that has captivated many is that Poe suffered from rabies. This theory emerged from a 1996 study by Dr. R. Michael Benitez, who reviewed Poe's symptoms and suggested that his delirium, agitation, and rapid deterioration could be attributed to the viral disease. Rabies is a viral infection that affects the central nervous system, often leading to confusion, hydrophobia, and ultimately, death if untreated. Dr. Benitez's analysis pointed out that Poe's symptoms in his final days matched those of rabies. He exhibited signs of delirium, erratic behaviour, and an intense aversion to water. But there's a catch. Poe did not show some of the classic symptoms of rabies, such as hydrophobia, leading some to question this diagnosis. Rabies could certainly explain some of Poe's symptoms, but it's important to note that without more concrete evidence, such as a documented animal bite or clear signs of hydrophobia, this theory remains speculative. Poe's medical history and lifestyle could have contributed to his deteriorating state in other ways. Speaking of lifestyle, let's explore the theory of Poe's death being the result of chronic alcoholism. Poe was known to struggle with bouts of heavy drinking, and some believe his death was the tragic culmination of years of alcohol abuse. Alcoholism was a well-documented issue in Poe's life, affecting his relationships and career. His frequent binges left him vulnerable to a myriad of health issues, including liver disease and heart problems. Some contemporaries and biographers suggest that Poe's final days were marked by a severe alcohol-induced breakdown, leading to his collapse and eventual death. However, friends and family members have contested this, arguing that Poe had abstained from alcohol in the months leading up to his death. While it's true that Poe battled alcoholism, there's evidence to suggest he had been sober for some time before his death. His sudden relapse into delirium could indicate other underlying health issues or even foul play, rather than simply attributing his demise to alcohol. And then there's the theory of poisoning. Some historians and enthusiasts argue that Poe might have been intentionally poisoned by enemies or even acquaintances. Poe had his fair share of rivals and enemies, both in his personal and professional life. Could someone have harbored enough animosity to poison him? Arsenic poisoning, in particular, was not uncommon in the 19th century, and its symptoms, such as confusion, gastrointestinal distress, and eventual death, could align with Poe's condition. However, without toxicological evidence, this theory remains in the realm of speculation. Arsenic and other poisons were indeed used during Poe's time, but diagnosing poisoning after such a long time without forensic evidence is challenging. Poe's symptoms could match those of poisoning, but they also overlap with several other conditions and diseases. Another compelling theory is that Poe suffered from a brain tumor. This theory gained traction after a discovery made in 1875 when Poe's remains were moved to a new gravesite. Reports from the exhumation claimed that a mass, possibly a brain tumor, was found in his skull. Brain tumors can cause a variety of symptoms, including severe headaches, confusion, hallucinations, and changes in behavior, symptoms that align closely with Poe's condition before his death. However, the accuracy of these 19th century reports and the state of medical knowledge at the time leave room for doubt. A brain tumor could certainly explain many of Poe's symptoms, but without modern diagnostic tools, it's difficult to confirm. The accounts from the exhumation provide intriguing clues, but fall short of definitive proof. And finally, some suggest that Poe's death was a result of hypoglycemia or low blood sugar, possibly linked to his known bouts of ill health and malnutrition. Hypoglycemia can cause confusion, abnormal behavior, and even loss of consciousness. Poe's erratic behavior and disorientation could be signs of a severe drop in blood sugar levels, exacerbated by his poor health and lack of proper nutrition. While plausible, this theory is also difficult to substantiate without more concrete medical evidence. As we can see, the mystery of Edgar Allan Poe's death is a tangled web of theories and possibilities, each with its own set of intriguing clues and unanswered questions. Whether it was the sinister practice of cooping, the ravages of rabies, the effects of alcoholism, deliberate poisoning, a brain tumor, or hypoglycemia, one thing is certain. Poe's death remains one of the most enduring enigmas in literary history. Poe's legacy continues to haunt and inspire, much like his stories of the macabre. His death, shrouded in mystery, only adds to the allure and fascination surrounding his life and works. As we close this chapter, we leave you with a quote from Poe himself. "The boundaries which divide life from death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where the one ends and where the other begins?" Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mystify Me for more tales of true crime and enigmatic investigations. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and stay curious. Nevermore.